I don't know where things are going to land through the exploration, so not sure yet if it will require a plebiscite. We are in very early days, and I'm really hopeful that people will see the value of this type of investment.
The Mayor of Calgary on a possible Alberta bid to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, a window of opportunity that recently opened when the City of Hamilton's bid fell through because of cost issues. And while there are advocates for hosting the Games again, there are also organizations pushing back. Joining us now, Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director for the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Mr. Terrazzano, your organization quick to call for a referendum on hosting the Commonwealth Games. Why does it need to be put to a vote?
Well, this is a complete waste of money. We're talking about using taxpayers' money to fund an 11-day track event, right? This isn't a priority. We're not talking about building a hospital, building another school, fixing a pothole. This is an 11-day track and field event. It's a waste of money. So if the province of Alberta, if the city of Calgary, if the city of Edmonton even thinks about moving forward with this, the people absolutely need a voice. The people need a vote. Okay,
so do you envision this as separate plebiscites in Edmonton and Calgary? Would it have to be a provincial vote with the Smith government already indicating it'll contribute up to $2 million toward the bid?
Oh, absolutely. It does need to be a provincial vote if provincial taxpayers are on the hook for this. Absolutely, it should be a vote. Now, you know why I think politicians don't want to have a vote? Because I think the politicians know that if they go to the people will vote down this boondoggle, just like they voted down the Calgary Olympic bid boondoggle back in 2018. Now, let's just point out how ridiculous this is. Only a couple years ago, Calgary taxpayers voted against using taxpayers' money to host the Winter Olympics. So in what world would politicians actually think that taxpayers want to use tax dollars to fund a badminton and table tennis tournament?
Okay, so, well, you bring up Olympics. We spoke with you back in 2018 when Calgary was queuing up to host the Olympics. You were the CTF's Alberta director at the time. How comparable are these two dynamics?
Well, I think they are very comparable for a couple reasons. I mean, number one, let's look at the costs. I mean, governments are already spending a couple $1 million just to think about the idea of hosting. We recently learned that Hamilton has pulled the plug. We've heard some costs of close to $500 million to host that one. So we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars putting taxpayers on the hook for potentially a table tennis and badminton tournament. But wait, there's more, because look, the economic climate here is not one where a government can waste money. We just saw the city of Calgary raise taxes. We just saw the city of Edmonton raise taxes. And the Alberta government, while we've seen a good budget, let's not forget that the provincial government is still $80 billion in debt.
Okay, if we look back again those few years, why do you think hosting the Olympics a second time failed to pass muster with Calgarians? Was it down to dollars and cents?
Oh, there was many different reasons that the people of Calgary voted against that Winter Olympic bid boondoggle. Let me give you three. Number one, there was a lack of transparency in that bid process, a lack of trust that the people had in their politicians, and rightfully so. Number two was the costs. We always hear about these costs being huge, these costs going way over budget. And already with these Commonwealth Games, they're spending millions of dollars just to think about it. Hamilton pulled the plug after costs could have been around $500 million. And here's the final reason: the lack of economic benefits. We have heard time and again independent economists come out and say that these types of so-called economic benefits are always overstated. And let me tell you why these economic benefits just are not there. It's because the money needed to fund this thing, it's not falling from the sky. It would have to be plucked from taxpayers' pockets.
Okay, so you discount the economic benefits?
Oh, I sure do. Once again, because that money isn't going to be falling from the sky. That's going to be coming from tapped out taxpayers, right? Just how bizarre is it that you have city governments even musing about an 11-day track event with taxpayers' money after they just raised taxes on Calgary and Edmonton taxpayers, many of whom who are struggling with groceries, who are worried about losing their homes as mortgage payments go up. So this is absolutely the wrong move. It's a waste of money. And at the very least, Calgary taxpayers, Edmonton taxpayers, and all Alberta taxpayers deserve a voice and deserve a vote.
Are there not, Franco, are there not lasting legacies as a result of games like this? Lasting infrastructure. Well, we can look back to 1978 and the Commonwealth Games in Edmonton. There is still significant infrastructure kicking around as a result of that, and there is so much that followed the Olympics.
Well, let me say two things to that. Number one, if there are infrastructure priorities that a government thinks is a priority, well, then let's have a conversation about funding an infrastructure priority on a case-by-case basis, right? If something's a priority, let's have that conversation. But you don't have to add in an 11-day badminton and table tennis tournament on top of that. That is a complete waste of taxpayers' money. But number two, if you're a politician and you truly believe in the merit of this type of games, well, then sell your vision to the people. Let the people have a vote. Don't just try to ram this through without giving taxpayers a say. Because again, this isn't a priority. We're not talking about building hospitals. We're not talking about building another school. We're not talking about fixing potholes. We're talking about using taxpayers' money to fund an 11-day sporting event.
Okay. At some point, though, politicians, they're elected to make dollars and cents decisions. Trudeau government purchased the Trans Mountain Pipeline for billions of dollars. Previous Kenney government invested more than $1 billion into the cancelled Keystone XL pipeline. Taxpayers didn't have a say in either of those transactions.
Well, you'll get no argument from me that politicians at all levels of government are very good at wasting taxpayers' money. But again, this isn't a normal operation of government. This isn't a new road. This isn't a new bridge. This is an 11-day badminton and table tennis tournament that we're talking about. And it's really out of touch for so many hosts of different reasons. People are struggling to afford groceries. But let's not forget the obvious. Only a couple of years ago, Calgary taxpayers voted against the Winter Olympic bid boondoggle. If Calgary taxpayers didn't want to have their tax dollars funding that, which includes hockey and skiing, there's no way that Alberta taxpayers will want to see their money funding a badminton and table tennis tournament.
Okay, I want to squeeze one more quick one in while we have the federal government just a couple of weeks away from delivering the budget. The finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, is talking about fiscal restraint. What's on your radar where the budget is concerned?
Three things, okay? We need to see a balanced budget, a credible plan to balance the budget. Number two is we got to scrap the tax hikes. We're going to see another carbon tax hike go up April 1, another alcohol tax hike come in April 1, and on the very same day, politicians, our members of parliament in Ottawa, are going to give themselves another pay raise. That's unacceptable.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for time. Appreciate your time this evening, Mr. Terrazzano. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director for the Canadian Taxpayers Federation.